Japanese Smash Ultimate is weird, strange, wild, unpredictable, but most importantly, it's amazing. Make no mistake, this is the strongest region in the world, and there was no better showcase of this talent than this weekend's Kagaribi 9. With 1,248 entrants, it slots as the 10th biggest Smash Ultimate tournament of all time. There was loads of heartbreak and triumphant stories, with one particular mid-tier character at the center of it all. Maybe this weekend you are watching Frosty Faustings. Maybe you refuse to ruin your sleep schedule for Smash Brothers, or maybe you watch the whole thing and you're just here to relive the moments. Whatever the case may be, I'll be your guide to all the greatest hits. Welcome to the Kagaribi 9 Tournament Recap. Of course, we're gonna start off with everyone's favorite reoccurring segment, Hot Set Alert. If you missed the entire weekend and you want to catch up with some fantastic sets before they're spoiled to you, these are the sets to watch. There are some sets that I don't think got uploaded yet, but these should suffice for now. And of course, make sure to come back and watch the rest of this video after you're done with these. Now, since about 2 or 3 years back, I've made the pits. Never once has my knowledge ever been useful when talking about any tournament. But here at Kagaribi 9, Zackray ran all the way to 3rd with solo pit. I don't care about 1st or 2nd right now, I need to gush. The mad genius of Smash was sent to the losers bracket extremely early by Rimu, and then proceeded to rattle off 10 set wins in a row. On his warpath, he took out alt-rank members Umeki, Kameme, Ken, and Yoshidora. Unlike other characters in this game, Pit's not just some guy you can spam the same options with. Because he doesn't have one button that controls the game, every single tool in his kit needs to be used to maximize his potential. Zackray showed a mastery over all of the Angel's moves. Down air for jab locks and spiking, nairs for combos and edge guards, up tilt and drag downs for extensions and kills, grabs to start offense and discourage shielding, dash attack to catch landings, and can we talk about his arrows for a second? Offstage was a battlefield where the opponent would just get peppered by arrows of light. He used the upwards version in tandem with straight to make sure the recovery path was never just a simple line. Constantly, he would force out air dodges and then punish accordingly with a hefty down air spike. All of this combined to make one of the scariest advantage states I've seen in Smash Ultimate. Just watch his sets against Ken or Umeki and see him wrangle advantage and just not give it back. For upwards of 10 seconds, his opponents would be lost, looking for a way to land and a way out of the vortex that is Nair. His legendary performance was only stopped by Ashimo in Losers Finals, where he was unfortunately reverse 3-0'd even after getting a kill screen in Game 5. This gives me an SRP of my soul, because I would sell my soul to the fucking devil to see this man play Pit again. Now there seems to be one question that's on everyone's Twitter feed. Where does Pit fall on the tier list? First, you need to understand that I go 2-2 at my local, and usually those 2 wins are from DQs. But look, I probably played the pits for more hours than you ever thought of them, so let me spit my shit. I think at best, Pit is maybe the 40th best character. Yes, he has quick smash attacks, great disadvantage, and an unreasonably good grab game, but there's also never a reason to be afraid of Pit. In other words, there's not really any cheats this character can pull. And I've heard orbiters and the arms being referred to as cheater moves and yeah, okay. A lot of Pit's game plan to win is just playing better fundamentals than you, which for a player like Zackray is very doable, and for others, not so much. That being said, even if I place Pit in mid-tier, that doesn't mean I don't think he can't win majors. I know to a lot of people that would automatically signal high tier, but I think putting loads of characters in there kinda defeats the point. Unlike other Smash games where playing a mid-tier gets you a highlight video for your run to 13th place, in Ultimate, mid-tiers have literally taken super majors. Character specialists have taken even the most ostracized of picks to the top. Big D revolutionized the Ice Climbers with the 2nd place at Gommel. Sumosuto took notorious bottom 5 character Dr. Mario to 3rd. Even Ganon has one significant win. I think we need to stop putting characters into tiers and just rank them in numerical order, because it's clear that 70 of these guys have the potential to make top 8, with some having a much easier time than others. Regardless of how good the character is, one thing was certain this weekend. Even if there's no reason to be afraid of Pit, there's definitely a reason to be afraid of Zackray. Okay, that's enough gushing about my main, so let's get into the other huge runs of Kagaribi, starting with our winner, Akola. It seems like his biggest competition lives in either New York, Florida, or Mexico, because Akola has the entirety of Japan figured out. His dominance is equivalent to pre-quarantine Leia, where maybe he'll get second and then fire back with a dominant performance. His Steve plays its own game. It sits there, forces players to deal with blocks, and when you do it wrong, you get hit with one of the most severe punish games in the scene. With how creative Steve is, he's always setting up new traps once you figured the old ones out. Most of his matches look more like a Looney Tunes episode than a fighting game. By always changing his setups, it requires his opponents to have extreme amounts of matchup knowledge that most people don't have. He barreled through the bracket, blowing out most sets and having a couple game 4s. Well, there was one player to take him to a game 5. In fact, he took him to a whole nother set. That player was Ashimo. It's unfortunate that I'm biased and weird because technically Ashimo had the most impressive run of the tournament. He didn't take out any more ranked players than anyone else, but let's actually take a look at his bracket here. From top 16 onward, he played Kameme, then Yoshi, Akola, Zackray, and Akola again in grand finals. Before Kagaribi 9, Ashimo had never beaten any of these players. Zackray beat him once, Kameme twice, Yoshi thrice, and Akola had given him 5 losses. But this weekend, he grabbed his first win on all of them. His Ryu really does play like Street Fighter, with extreme patience and smart fireballs. In addition though, Ashimo uses Ryu's aerials a disturbing amount. No matter how ground focused this character may seem, constantly Ashimo would be off stage, using back air like a 5th special move. His up air chains are scary, with the Shoryuken always looming in the background. And he never misses. With him getting his first wins on tons of prolific players, we might be able to see Ashimo take a super major sometime soon. Our 4th place finisher was Yoshi, a player whose tag is made of my 2 favorite childhood characters. He really had to fight this bracket, having to play 4 games with every opponent after pools. Then in top 8, he lost 2 last stock, last game situations to Ashimo and Zackray, taking out Now in the middle. Yoshi is a fantastic player. He's one of the only people in Japan to not have a 0% win rate against Akola. In fact, he's taken 5 sets off of him, which is more than any other player in the world. He uses the dinosaur's insane aerial drift and safe buttons to pressure his opponents while they're stuck in shield. Coupled with neutral B, if you're not prepared, he'll absolutely lick you. Not a sex thing, I promise. We don't really know how good Yoshi is. He hasn't left Japan to compete, but finally he's confirmed for Battle of BC 5. It seems that MK Leo will be in attendance, so we might get to see how Yoshi fares against the best in the world. Now, can we get our 5th place finishers in here? Get it? Now and Ken placed 5th? Whatever. Now is yet another top level Mario showing how good Nintendo's mascot is. He showed up to Genesis 9 getting 13th and bagging wins over Chag, Sigma, Goblin, and Vendetta. This weekend he was seeded 44th and still managed to jump his way into top 8, snagging wins on Jazzo, Level 1, and Hero. Mario's combos and ladder setups allow for tons of easy damage, and while I don't think Now has quite the explosiveness of Kurama, his Mario reminds me a lot of Dark Wizzy. Both players use Mario's quick ground speed and fast aerials to threaten characters' landings and keep them in the air. All of a sudden you're panicking and decide to air dodge, and destruction. As for Ken, he made it to top 8 on the winner's side by being the one to send Now and Level 1 to losers in the first place. He was then only able to pick up 1 game in the entirety of top 8. His character choices were, kinda questionable. He went Sonic against Akola, even though Sephiroth with his hyper long range has a really favorable matchup against Steve. Next he went Sephiroth against Zackray, which I mean for me, that's an amazing matchup. Zackray had a fucking field day with it. I suppose that's the struggle of being a co-main. You want to try out a new strategy or see what a character will do, but if it doesn't work out, it feels like you've wasted a game. I kinda just get to pick if I'm feeling edgy or not. Ken will also be appearing at Battle of BC5, and he'll be returning as the defending champion. Hopefully we can see both his Sonic and Sephiroth work together to take sets. Rounding off top 8, we have Hero and I'm. Hero's Bowser coasted through his bracket until he met with the number 1 seed Akola. After taking a bit of a trashing, he took out Gact and was barely edged out by a reverse 3-0 by now, which had multiple points where he was 1 hit away from taking the set. Hero plays Bowser like a Shoto. He waits and gets hit and gets stuck at disadvantage, but once he gets his hands on you, it's over. He's not trying to tack on damage or get stage position. When he's in advantage, he's trying to kill you. Bowser has been constantly plummeting in competitive opinion, which is so strange since Hero is so consistent at making top 8. He's another player who hasn't traveled, and with no plans for the future, the best Bowser in the world may be confined to Japan. Going in the complete opposite direction character-wise, we have I'm Sheik. Despite being the 42nd seed, he somehow wasn't the lowest seed in top 8, being beaten by Now in 2 placements. He beat alt rank number 90 and 92 and Masa and Miyatona respectively in winners, and number 34 Hikaru in losers. DK Sheik just sounds like a 10-0 matchup for both sides. Sheik is one of the strangest anomalies in Ultimate. It seems like she should dominate neutral and be a top 20 character, but over and over she gets edged out by characters who are simply easier to play. Maybe I'm can carry the Sheik torch since most others have either dropped the character or picked up secondaries. Okay, low-key I talked too much about Pit and rushed through everyone else, but now I'm gonna rush through a bunch more upsets. Australian player Shrix upset Apex champion Mia with Sephiroth. This was honestly huge for Australia, an overlooked region who got seated super low at Kagaribi. Shrix himself was 124th. He then got beat by Japanese player Shisho, a Dr. Mario and Mii sword fighter player. That is actually the goofiest set of characters in the entire pro scene. And finally, seed number 1139 Meru upset seed number 50 YOC. So there's hope for us 2 tours, baby. Hey guys, sorry for the less recap and more Pit explanation. I don't know, I'll probably never get the chance to do this again, so I'm gonna abuse it. I'm not sure which tournament I'm gonna be covering next, maybe Collision in March, which I'll be going to, so that'll be exciting. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!